Welcome. We're very pleased to have this, what we call a private and very special luncheon in honor of Dr. Saib Erekat, who's flown here from Ramallah to be with us. Please continue eating. We have a very short time, and he has so much to say, and we have so much interest in what he has to say that we're going to do something that's a little bit awkward. We're going to talk over the meal. So they'll be serving you your luncheon. Please continue to eat as quietly as you can. And Dr. Saib Erekat will speak to us. Then we'll have a question and answer period. And then at the very end, he will go back to the back of the room and have a press briefing. It is really, before I begin, there is something that has been on my mind throughout this entire conference. Every time someone gets up in the panel and says, oh, well, thank you to the Middle East Institute, and thank you to the President, Wendy Chamberlain, I feel embarrassed, and I feel badly. Because there's really one other person who really is so responsible for the already success of the banquet last night and this conference today, and that's Kate Seeley. Kate, please stand up. Kate is not an events planner. She's actually an accomplished journalist, but a documentary maker, but we are just thrilled to have her. She is very ably assisted by Alicia Meyer. Is Alicia here? Probably not. She's running around doing things. And a squadron of absolutely terrific interns that we could not exist without. I love my staff, top to bottom. They're just wonderful, and we don't have a professional events planner for this. We do it all in-house with our interns under Kate's leadership, and I just want to say thank you again. So it is our honor to be able to invite all of you to this small luncheon, and to be able to meet and talk to, from the heart, Dr. Saib Erekat, the chief PLO negotiator, and to have an opportunity to talk to someone who's inside the process. He's traveled here from Ramallah, as I mentioned, and we're very grateful to the Consolidated Contractors Company for helping make that possible. We'd also like to thank our other sponsors, the Foundation for Middle East Peace. Phil Wilcox, thank you so much for your support, as well as Elias Uberdeen and Fuad Shahuri. Thank you so much for making this possible. It is now my great pleasure to introduce George Salem, who will introduce our speaker. And let me just say very few words about George, because he has such an impressive and long bio. I'll try to condense it. He established the law offices of George Salem in 2005, but before that, for many years, he was with the law firm Aiken, Gumstraus, Hauer, and Feld. George has made his mark in the field of labor law and once served our nation as Solicitor of Labor at the Department of Labor. His personal interest is the Middle East, and this has led him to do landmark work with Middle Eastern clients. And I'll just give you an example of the kind of big cases that he's had. He headed the legal team that successfully brought suit against the Department of Treasury on behalf of the owners of Al-Shifa pharmaceutical plant that, as you recall, was bombed in Sudan. George has been active in partisan politics. He's played key roles in the Reagan-Bush, Bush-Quayle, Bush-Cheney campaigns. And many of you know and love George and respect him for his committed work to the Arab American Institute, the United Palestinian Appeal, the National Association for Arab Americans, and the American Arab Anti-Discrimination Committee. But what you might not know was that in 2003, he was named to the U.S. Advisory Commission on Public Diplomacy in order to offer his very sage advice to our government on how to communicate with the Arab and Muslim world. If I could invite George Salem to the podium. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy, for that very kind and gracious introduction. Let me begin by thanking CCC for underwriting this luncheon, and thank Wendy again for allowing me the honor of introducing our luncheon keynoter. As we all know, Dr. Saeb Erekat is the chief negotiator of the PLO and the head of the Negotiation Affairs Department. He was also, during all of this, elected to the Palestinian Legislative Council in 1996. His distinguished career includes a doctorate in peace studies from Bradford University in England, as well as bachelor's and master's degrees in international relations from the University of San Francisco. He also served on the editorial board of Al-Quds newspaper and is a professor of political science at Al-Najah University. In 1991, Dr. Erekat was the vice chair of the Madrid peace delegation and was later vice chair of the Washington negotiations. He has been extensively involved in all negotiations with Israel, including those conducted in 2000 at Camp David, as well as those conducted in 2001 in Taba, which, as we all know, provides the outlines for the agreement that we all seek today. His extensive involvement in peace negotiations continues, as we all know, to this day, including this morning when he was meeting at the State Department with our nation's leaders on the peace process. It says a great deal about a man and his commitment to peace that he has served as chief negotiator for both President Arafat and President Abbas. We all heard the effusive praise that President Clinton had in his remarks last night about Saeb. At the last White House Christmas party hosted by President Bush, which was my last occasion to talk to him at any length, he also praised Saeb by name and spoke to me about how fond he had become of Saeb and the Palestinian negotiators. Distinguished service to two Palestinian presidents and praise from two U.S. presidents conveys more about our luncheon speaker than I could possibly articulate in a brief introduction. Please join me in welcoming our keynote lunch speaker, Saeb Erekat.